Yo, so in today's video, guys, I'm going to be showing you how you can make a very simple drift build, basically using any rear-wheel drive car in Forza Horizon 5. But just before the video starts, guys, 98% of you yet to subscribe, so do me a favor, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to turn on post notifications, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. But wait, it's sponsor time. If you're looking for a cheap, fast, and reliable way to get hundreds of millions of credits, as well as hundreds of wheel spins, you need to check out Mitch. I personally have used Mitch to get hundreds of millions of credits, but don't just take my word for it, take the words of 10,000 Trustpilot reviews as well. But they don't only just do credits, they also do wheel spins, modded accounts, rare cars, and so much more. So if you need any of their services, they will be in my bio. And don't forget to use code John for 5% off. Thank you, Mitch, for sponsoring. And let's get on with the video. All right, so let's head on over to the auction house right now and let's just pick a random car. So for this video, I'm going to be just using rear-wheel drive cars. You can make all-wheel drive drift builds as well, but I don't like doing them personally because I'm not really a fan of all-wheel drive drift builds. So we're going to be picking any random one right here. Let's just try and find any random one. I'm actually going to close my eyes for this. And we're going to use this one. Okay, here we go. That is probably the worst one we could do. But this could be a big challenge just to prove to you guys that it is possible to literally make any car a drift build. So let's get ourselves our Bel Air and let me show you exactly what you need to do to build a drift car. All right, here's our new drift build, the Chevy Bel Air, which obviously is going to be, I don't know, a drag build or something like that, but I kind of like the rustic look. But anyway, let's move on over to everything we need to do. So first things first, you want to head on over to your custom upgrades, and we're going to be doing a engine swap on this one. Now, if you don't want to do an engine swap and you want to create a purist build, by all means, you can do so. I just personally like getting as much power as I can out of a particular car and a particular engine. So I'm going to be doing that. With that out of the way, let's have a look at the car engine swaps we can do. So let's hear the initial engine. It sounds quite mean, but let's see what we've got here. So we've got a V10 right here, a V12. Got a twin turbo 700.4, but I'm guessing all we can have on that one is twin turbo, so we're not going to use that one to upgrade, but it would be a very good suggestion. We've got a DSC right there. Let's go for the V10. Why not? And then we're going to get ourselves some twin turbos. We do have a supercharger as well, but we're going to be going with the twin turbos. And then once we've done all of that, we can then move on over to the engines. So the big rule of thumb with any engine upgrades for a drift build is you want all of them to be race or drift. So for example, for the intakes, you want everything to be set to race. Same with the fuel system and ignition. And pretty much all you want to do is just max this car out to its maximum capabilities. But for God's sakes, please don't put anti-lag on your cars. It's just so annoying. And once you've done all of that, what you want to do is move on over to platform and handling. Again, you want to set race brakes, but for the spring and dampeners, we want to get ourselves some drift spring and dampeners. For the front and rear anti-roll bars, we want to stick those to race. For the chassis reinforcements and for weight reduction, I personally don't touch them. I try to keep them stock, but if you do by all means want to go ahead and change that, save yourself some weight, you could improve your handling. But moving on over to the drivetrain, we're going to be putting the race clutch on. For the transmission, I always recommend you just go for the race transmission, because with drift builds you're not really going to be going up into high gears because you're not trying to get to the maximum speed. You're just trying to maintain a really nice slide. So really all you're going to be in is probably second, third and fourth gear. Driveline, you want to stick to race, and then for the diff, of course, we want to go for the drift differential. Moving on over to the tires and rims. Now, a lot of people will go for the drift tire compound, but shout out to MJ for this. You actually want to pick the snow tire compound, and that's because with the snow tire compound, you actually get a little less grip than the drift build, making it a little bit easier for you to slide the car around a corner or to kick the back out very quickly. For the front tire width, you want to keep that basically as default, but for the rear, you want to get some big, chunky, juicy tires on the back. And then for the front rim size, it doesn't matter, we'll just bank some 20s on, and then for the back, we'll bank some 21s on. Why not? Moving on to aero and appearance, this isn't anything really that you need to touch, but because I do like the street bonnet and with the big supercharger on the front, I'm going to go for that. And that is basically your drift build built. Now, we're going to go out of the Horizon Festival, we're going to test drive it, and I'm going to show you exactly what you should do to make adjustments and to tune your car to its perfect capability. All right, here we go. This is our Bel Air. Let's give it a quick little rev. That does sound very mean. So let's give it a nice little pull. As you can see, we are redlining like crazy. on first, second. Third has got a nice little bit of pull to it as well. It seems like we could actually take some big advantages out of using that third gear. Let's try and get it up to speed just a little bit and try it in fourth gear maybe. Fourth gear is actually really good as well. So third and fourth is probably going to be our best gears. This is what we're going to be doing now. So let's go and tune our car. So for the tire pressure, you want to get the rears all the way down to low as possible. And for the fronts, I tend to keep mine between 30 to 32. Look at it, this car sticks at 32 PSI already. So I'm going to keep it just the same. The gearing is super duper important and we're going to get back to that very quickly. But first, let's skip over that and head to the alignment. So for the alignment, you want your negative front camber to be set to 5 or -5, sorry, and your rear you want to set that to 1. This is just going to make it a little bit nippier for it to go around corners and to slide and kick its back out. For the anti-roll bars as well, as you can see, we've got stiff at the front and soft at the back. We want to keep this sort of format the same as well, but this time we want to edge it a little bit more closer to the soft side. So we're going to be going for a 12.5 on the soft, and we're going to pull it back just a little bit on the rear to maybe a 11.5. And again, like I said, you can make adjustments where necessary. If it feels like that the car is oversteering too much and it's kicking its back out way too much, then we might adjust the front roll bars to be a little bit more stiffer and for the rears to be a little bit more stiffer as well. The spring is going to be the exact the same as the anti-roll bars. So what you want to do, again, same sort of format. You want to pull this back to soft, but the rear, we want that to be a little bit more soft than the actual front. The ride height, you want to keep this as low as possible. This should be the case already if you've got the drift springs on, because it will put it to the lowest ride height as possible. Dampening as well, again, it's the same sort of thing as the anti-roll bars. So the rear is going to be the main point, so we want to kind of keep this behind it as necessary. So we're going to put 4.5 on the front and 3.5 on the rear, and the same again for the front and rear, but this time we're going to be keeping these the same. So we're going to be going for a 4.4 on this one. Aero, we don't need to touch because we haven't put any upgrades on it. And for the brakes, what we want to do is we want to give the front a little bit more priority. It's going to be a lot easier to give the front brakes a little bit more priority, leaving the back to just quickly and easily kick itself out. For the brake pressure as well, I like to adjust this between 130 to 150, so I'm going to actually set it in the middle to 140. And then for the differential as well, we want to increase all of this up to 100%. And now we're going to be tackling gearing. Now gearing is going to be super important because we don't want it to be so slow that it takes ages to pick up speed, but we don't want it to be too fast where you're bouncing off the red limiter and it's making it easier for your car to oversteer. So the first gear isn't really going to be necessary to us. The second, third and fourth are going to be our favorites. The first thing I recommend you guys do is actually change your final drive and put speed as the priority. And as you can see on the chart, we are actually pushing some of like the fifth and sixth gears out of the equation, and we kind of want to prioritize again first, second, third and fourth. First is going to be the pull-off gear, second is going to be the second pull-off gear, third and fourth is going to be our drift gears. So fourth is going to be the priority for long curvy corners, and the third one are going to be for a little bit more tighter ones. Let's quickly save this real quick and let's head back into here. Let's change it all the way down. As we remember, this is going to be our pull-off gear, so we're going to pull off in this. Second one, as you can see, is a little bit more delayed, but we are picking more and more speed up. So now fourth gear seems to be the best one for it, but we are still somewhat bouncing off of the red limiter. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head back on over to tune car. So what we're going to do is decrease the gearing and prioritize it more towards the speed. So as you can see, we're making more adjustments necessary. We are shortening or making the fifth gear a lot longer and taking ages for it to hit the rev limiter. So we're just making slight adjustments here. And as you can see, the gap between third and fourth is quite big. So we're actually going to make tiny little adjustments to that as well and basically make longer gears out of everything. Let's apply the setup for this one and let's go ahead and start again. So let's quickly switch the car around, and as you can see, nice pull-off gear right here. We're going to hit the rev limiter. As you can see, second gear is a lot better. Third gear seems to be really kicking it beautifully, still bouncing off the red limiter a little bit, but fourth gear is the one where it's at, where we're going to be getting a beautiful slide, nice long slides in. And as you can see, we are not bouncing off of that 8,000 RPM as much. Now the goal with this is actually feeding the throttle, not actually, you know, pressing your foot down, because if you press the foot down, you get more chance of oversteering and putting too much power in. So for this, all we're doing in third gear is just threading the throttle or pushing a little bit of speed through the throttle. And the big thing that we're going to be using as well is the brake and e-brake at the same time, just to get a nice little slide in. I obviously can't drift to save my life, but here we go. Let's give it a nice little slide here. As you can see, the fourth gear is the longer gear, meaning Long curves like that is very, very easy to drift around, making really, really nice and clean drifts. Nice little tap off that bus right there. But as you can see, the fourth gear is going to be the one that gives us those long sort of drifts. But as we start going around more tighter corners, second and third is probably going to be our best priority. So we're going to take the brakes down here, going to shift down to third. There we go. So as you can see, we've got a little bit too little power here. But once we get in there, we're making very small drifts right here. Maybe second gear is going to be the best. Yeah, second gear is going to be best for this. As you can see, all we're doing is just threading and putting a little bit of speed in. We're just feeding the throttle, not going too crazy with it. And as you can see, we are holding that drift beautifully. And of course, the number one rule for drifting, guys, if you're steering right, you want to turn left. Power counter steering is going to be essential when it comes to drifting. As we established at the beginning, guys, this is basically a drag car, and now we have built it, so it's actually a pretty good drift car. But guys, this is going to be the end of today's video. Hopefully this did help you out at all. If you do have any questions or you want to see more content like this, make sure you leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. My name's been John. You guys have been awesome, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.